Alright, we've got us another issue of the 90s Handbook to unpack right now. And my eyesight is getting so bad that soon I won't even have to look away to avoid spoiling what characters are in this. We've got 24 profiles. Let's tear them out and see who and what we've got this time. I do wonder if there's a faster way to remove them all. Like if you just pull this off. This is the glue kind of bit that holds it all together. So here they all are. I know we have got Ghost Driver, definitely. He is the main cover one. There's also AIM, which is the first profile. I think there's also Cable Man in this one. Rachel Diamonds. Big Bertha. Our first entry is a team profile for AIM. The Terrorist Beekeepers. This is what a typical member of AIM looks like. Baron Zordon, Doctor Strange enemy. Let's open it up to the audience. Who do you consider the arch enemy of Doctor Strange? This guy, Dormammu, or Nightmare Man? That is a character with a healthy rogues gallery. Anyone with 3 equally arch enemies is doing well. Uh-oh. It is Big Bertha from the Great Lakes Avengers. She is the only member of the Great Lakes Avengers who gets an entry in all 36 issues of the Master Edition. It annoys me. This feels like a wasted space. Give this to Elcat or one of those other important characters who don't get a profile. Don't tease us with the Great Lakes Avengers and then not follow through. We don't even get Mr. Immortal. Cable Man, very, very early Cable Man. So early, he feels off model. Take a look at his hair, for example. We had to see them slip Cable Man in casually with the 3rd issue. If they held onto him, he could have been a main cover feature for an issue down the line. Curious about the write-up, because this is too early to really have anything important to say. Rachel Diamonds. Love the character, but this design, I think it was Ron Lee, but it might have been Kirsten DeWitt, and Ron Lee was the one who wound up first drawing it. Don't like it. Too generic and bland. I understand the idea was to move away from the look associated with a villainous past, but at the same time, the character had been so identified with the colour pink that it is counterproductive to have her in what looks like a fancy dress costume made up of leftover Black Widow and Mockingbird costume pieces, and the colour pink entirely gone and replaced with purple. Great character though, created by Marky Mark G and Paul Neely. First appeared Captain America 310. I knew that. I'm not reading it. I'm not cheating. As if I need to cheat for Marky Mark G Captain America knowledge. Elektra, the electrical Spider-Man, and sometimes Daredevil, enemy. Common member of the Insidious Six. One-time member of the Frightening Force. That's a good story. I should review that one. The Spider-Man Fantastic Four story with the Frightening Force. Bill Bungalow, wasn't it? Now I'm curious if it'll mention it in this profile. Yes, it does. Spectator Spider-Man 39 joined the Frightening Force. And then Fantastic Force 218. He and other members of the Frightening Force used Spider-Man as bait to trap the Fantastic Force. Firestorm, ex-skater boy of Galactus Man, cosmic character, friend of Thor and the Avengers. I would argue honorary member of the Avengers, but that is a pedantic missive for another video. It doesn't list Avengers on his back if you're wondering. It just says Avengers 258, remanded to custody of Avengers. I am the only one who thinks him spending a week with the Avengers, even if it was mostly off-panel, that should probably count for something. Remember New Defenders 126? That was a good issue. That was a better issue than I remembered. It wasn't really a bit, but I did keep coming back to it at the start of other videos after it, because there was a decent amount of things that either slipped me mind or I hadn't really thought on before doing the video. This was the villain in that issue. Great underrated issue. Ghost Driver, motor bicycle hero. This is our second Ghost Driver. Kyle. His name is Kyle. All 90s younger replacement legacy heroes are called Kyle. I've decided that. Kyle Ketch, was the new Ghost Driver, and I would go to bat to say the better Ghost Driver, but with the weaker origin and name. Like Cable Man, very early. He only debuted a year before this. Not much to say. The original Ghost Driver, Nicolas Cage, he gets his own profile later in the series. I think he is a cover feature too. Idris Elba in whiteface. Absolutely unacceptable. It's like when Lenny Henry did it. Lenny Henry, it was on my list. If I did 10 people I irrationally ate, Lenny Henry would be about number 4. Lenny Henry is... it's a tough one. People assume I say I ate Lenny Henry because he's black, but no. He's an insufferable, unfunny blowhard who acts as if his entire shtick hasn't been about exploiting and condoning black stereotypes. He did a movie in the early 90s. He was trying to break into America. The plot is that he is a struggling black actor, and the reason he is struggling is because he is erudite and intellectual, unlike all the other black people who are thugs and gangsters. He is saying this, not me. This is a bias and bigotry Lenny Henry has capitalised and milked for ages. But the plot is that he does a white chicks, and he becomes a white man, and nobody bats a lid at how cultured and wise Lenny Henry is when he's white, and then the mob want to whack him. He becomes a wise guy or something. I think the takeaway from this is Lenny Henry is shit. Great profile to turn to after slamming Lenny Henry, isn't it? I kinda dig this character. I am a sucker for villains who are men in animal costumes. And if someone is looking for ammunition to accuse me of being a furry, you don't have to look far. There's photos of me in what is basically a furry suit. And whenever there's a villain like this, I always think they are great. I think if someone wanted to run a smear campaign saying that I am a furry, it would be really easy to do. I even rushed ahead to the fur character. I just thought it would be funnier to go from Lenny Henry to a black man in a monkey suit. Morgan Le Fay. She gets a real name because she, of course, is not a comic character. She is folklore. One of Darth Knight, the subscriber's favourite villains, actually. Not sure why. He must have a very active imagination. I should probably send him scans of that one Michael Bryan Benson comic where she is having sex with Mr. Doom. Just for him, here's a shot of her behinds. Tee hee hee. It is like I am talking about a buttocks. Mr. Fantasticals. And the crazy thing here is that I don't think his head was even on the cover. Major Marvel character left off the cover. Bonkers. There is his data and super statistics. Oh, I can't say that name, can I? He's wearing the serpent hat though, so technically this could also count as a profile for the serpent hat. I would criticise that they had so many dead, or at least inactive characters, up front in the series. It's great to get all these characters, but do I need to drag out my list of major characters who never got profiles? We've had 2 dead characters in a row here. Big Bertha and this in the same issue. No wonder this series lasted only 36 issues. Paralyzer. Need to go back to calling him that. Shockster isn't a great name, but Paralyzer is a name maybe one other person might get. Another Spider-Man villain here, and a future Thunderbals member to boot. Is this Strong Guy? No, this is Sunder. Sunder! Don't be a clown, it's Sunder, not Strong Guy. Thunderpath, the original and dead Thunderpath, one of the new Excellent Men for 15 minutes. Died in a plane explosion. Was interested how they could pad his bibliography section out to a full section, but they've just made the picture really big. Another 2 dead characters in a row though. She's got it! Oh baby, she's got it! I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, your desire. That was Venus by Shock and Blue, famously covered by Bananarama. I call this character Friday, and I have no idea why. Every time she appears, I ask if anyone can work it out for me. I've forgotten where the name Friday came from. Reverse a nice shot of her. That's from Avengers 283, I think. I consider this a profile for the eventual Angels of Aslan character. There are retcons that affect this, and Marvel themselves have gone for the worst version, but my take is that it was always Friday. I should do a video about that, but I feel some sympathy for the writer, Jeff Parkman, because he realised he had made a mess, and his attempts to tidy it up made it possibly worse. Yellow Flash, another dead character.
Hey, I'm supposed to be looking at the handbooks here, not the obituaries.
Honorary Avengers member. Keen to turn this over and see if they list Avengers in his bio. No, they don't. Former group membership doesn't list the Avengers. There's a good 5 or 6 issues where he's involved with the Avengers on different missions. Avengers 153, Giant Size Avengers 6, Avengers 154, Supervillain Team Up 9, Avengers 155, Avengers 156. He's not in Avengers 157, 158 or 159, but Avengers 160 opens with him having showed up off panel to help out, and then he is on the cover to Avengers 165. He is with the team on the cover, but in the story he is not. And then Avengers 173, he retires from superheroics. Wreck-It Ralph, member of the Herdling crew. Don't worry, all the Herdling crew do get entries in the Master Edition. It'll be horrific if we got 3, and then never got one of them. It's Batrock's pal, one of the few Marvel characters that are indexed under the letter Z. Now I bring out my collection made up of past Master Edition issues I have looked at, and we're seeing what teams we're adding to, and what else we can do. I think this is another one where there's not much, but I have come up with another new thing we can do here. First, there is Cable Man. He can go on with our excellent men, which include Smurf, Cannonballs, Darkstar, Fork, Smurf, again, Circus Smurf, Fetish Fuel, and then maybe the Flash, one of my favourite Marvel characters. But we also have the start of an excellent Force team. Rachel Diamond can be placed with the Serpent League of America, but I would rather have her with Captain America or Thunderballs, which we will be coming to. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I reckon, seriously, I reckon Porcupine could be on the Serpent League of America. I mean, Eel is already there. He's dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. Firestorm, you could put him with the Avengers, or you could put him with some space characters. He was a member of the 90s Galactical Guardians. And we have two of them, I think. I haven't gotten them out, but I think we have two of them. Elektra and Paralyzer have officially gave us. We've almost got an Insidious 6. Dan Sloth, Elektra, Rhino Man, Paralyzer, and then Hobgobbler. Two members of New Fantastic Force. One member of Odd Fantastic Force. No, wait, actually, two. You could put both of these with the Excellent Men, but they're both dead. Here are all the dead characters we've gotten. I'll just quickly whiz through these right now, and there is no chance of this sentence turning out to be satisfying or even that grammatically correct by the time we reach the end. And all of those are going off the profiles themselves. At the time, and according to their biographies, they are dead when they received their profiles. Coming back to Paralyzer, Thunderballs, hello. And as I said, possible place for Rachel Diamond too. I also forgot to acknowledge last time we got Juggernaut, who can also go on Thunderballs. So what we have here is Songgirl, Rachel Diamond, Juggernaut, Atlas Man, Fister, Moonstump, Plantmaster, Radiation Dudes, and then Paralyzer. But we are getting to the point now where it's becoming time to start considering who we've got and who is best and who to reject. And in that case, I think Paralyzer's probably going to get rejected. I wouldn't put Yellow Flash with the Avengers, but he can go off to the side with some of our other invaders like Plastic Man and Fire Spith. And one of you won't be happy unless I bring out No Man. I was going to say we're starting our Angels of Aslan, our Avengers of the 1950s, but we only get 3 of them in this series. Uranus Boy and 3D Man. Wreck-It Ralph will start our Hurting crew, but he can also be put on any other villain team we have, like the Bastards of Evil, or even Thunderballs. We've almost completed the traditional lineup for Batrock's Brigade. This is not impressive, but we also have a set of characters from Galactical Guardians issue 29, Dan Sloth, Paralyzer, P-Adder, and then Gargantua, Leviathan, whatever you want to call them. It was Dan Slott's reinforcements for his Bastards of Evil team. Now it's the time nobody has waited for. Updating. SeaWorld attacks 2. Fairyland attacks. Rachel Diamond, I love. But she's not in the Serpent League of America anymore, so I can't see her involved as anything more than Captain America's ally. Firestorm might not be a bad one, that are fighting alongside Fairyland against Seth and the Sars. He does have a friendship with both Thor and Hercules Man, and also Shade the Changing Man, who is also there. Idris Elba, definitely. Fairyland really needs its full set of characters, which is going to be odd since they never did a profile for Steve. Idris Elba is a tough one to write though, because you have to come up with a good enough reason for him to leave his post. Him standing guard at Rainbow Road. Maybe the solution is to just have him be the first one who gets beaten badly by the invading forces. Although maybe there's something better I could do. The idea is that they want to bring Set out of his dimension, and Fairyland is a dimension where they could bring Set through to. But for Set to get to Earth, you would have to use Rainbow Road. So maybe Idris Elba is like the last line of defense to stop Set from reaching Earth. I don't know. Feels a bit much. Idris Elba isn't really capable of stopping Set. There's also loads of serpent imagery in Fairyland mythology. There's loads you could do with Set in Fairyland. I'm not getting too into Ka-Zar in SeaWorld Attacks 2. The focus is always on Seth. But Morgan Le Fay has a big connection with Ka-Zar. And one of my ideas for the ending, rather than banish Seth back to the dimension that he has been imprisoned in all this time, I thought, how about we swap Seth and Ka-Zar's prisons around? Seth is now bound to the Dark Book, which no longer would work due to all the incantations and texts being written about and referring to Ka-Zar. And then Ka-Zar is stuck in a dimension he has no real control over. I think that could be a satisfying conclusion. And a way to also put Set and Ka-Zar to bed while also leaving the door open for someone to come back and say, Ka-Zar has escaped Set's dimension. Fantastic Force will be featured, clearly. I see them and Seaman kind of occupying the little bit of plotline that is like carrying over from the original SeaWorld Attacks. Ursula, the serpent art, the stuff on Earth, that's their thing. As I said, the serpent art is in it, definitely. Ursula is going to have a very specific target in mind for who shall wear it and become Set's eyes on Earth. I don't think I've ever really explained it quite well enough. The idea is that Ursula and the Sars, they want to bring Set through to Earth, but they have encountered problems doing that in the past. So now they have come up with an alternative of bringing Set out of his dimension into another dimension, Fairyland. And then hopefully Seth, he can access Earth more easily than he can from his dimension. Safe bet, AIM will be in there somewhere. They probably won't have much contribution to the plot, but there'll be some technology or something somewhere that was developed by AIM. I thought this one was actually quite light on Fairyland Attacks updates, but I've actually found out quite a lot. You've learnt the full ending by now. Set in the Unimind battle, Thor will probably be part of the Uniminds. The Unimind casts Set into the Dark Book and Ka-Zar into Set's dimension. Anyway, Friday will be there fighting alongside Thor and Hercules Man and the new gods in Fairyland. I like the character, so I should probably think of something to do with her. But my first thought is always, let's try and resolve the retcon mess. I don't think it's possible to work that into Fairyland Attacks. It seems too disparate and random. The only way to really do it would be with a Kurt Busey style line of dialogue that just writes off past appearances or something. Whoa, what are you talking about? That's a load of nonsense. What a hoax! I suppose Baron Zordon could be involved. He is a mystic and we've got mysticism in the story. He would be another one who I think would actually join forces with the good guys in this instance. I cannot see him as an acolyte of Seth, unless he is exposed to the Serpent Art or something to influence him directly. Maybe actually I did think about what became of those other serpent artifacts from Conan the Barber. There's a serpent ring and the serpent amulet. Maybe he has them. I don't know. I had another idea planned for them, but I think that might make more sense than having a time travel Avengers Kronos team up into the Hyborian Age to retrieve serpent MacGuffins. And there they all are, organised into my big pile of profiles. That was this issue of the official Andy book to the Marvel Universe, Master Edition, Issue 3. I don't know if I said Issue 3 at the start. I've got to give it a 7 thumbs up.